Hi, welcome to the Hicks Homestead YouTube channel. My name's Wade, and this is the Pecron E3600LFP full stack, a full 15 kilowatt hour battery pack on it. There's more batteries in the back, and it's been a while since I've done a video, especially just dedicated to this unit. So if you're in the market for a portable power station, it's got its quirks, but I really think right now this is kind of the best bang for the buck for something portable, especially to run with my setup, which is an RV. I've got my 30 amp going out to my RV, and I also have a generator, but kind of want to get a little in-depth review on this unit, especially while it's nice and hot outside. It's about 87 degrees. Of course, it's a lot hotter inside this box. So let me talk a little bit about the setup and why this thing is outside in a box in the sun. Well, right now I'm building a house and I don't have grid electricity available, and I needed something to run my RV while not entirely depending on my generator, which is over here. That would get expensive long term, constantly running that for fuel. So this runs pretty much everything at my little off-grid campsite while my house is being built. I've got lighting going out to my little portable carport. I'm running my amateur radio station on it. I'm running a deep freezer, my Starlink, plus everything inside my RV. And it's warm outside, and I'm getting pretty decent solar. It's let's take a look up here at the sky. There's a big old ball of fire in the sky, and it's partly to mostly sunny. The clouds have kind of gone away a little bit more than they were earlier today, which is why I'm making the video right now. So each one of these solar panels, this is a string, and I have another identical string behind this box that is 400 watts each. And you can see, we'll go in here in the menu for the solar coming in right now, and of course I'm not quite getting 1200 watts out of each one, out of each string. I'm getting about 850 watts. Now that has to do with the sun angle and the little bit of cloud cover and dust in the environment. That screen's really hard to see, and I apologize for that. There we go. Now you kind of see what's going on here. Got about 800 coming in on each string, and as you can hear, that fan is running almost non-stop. So let's go to the AC output. Right now I have my air conditioner on in my RV, and we're pulling a bit of power. Just a little bit of sag from 120, and this thing has never really been 60 hertz. Not really an issue. It's 59.9, but if you have a clock, it's hard keeping that clock set and keeping it accurate over a while. So this is the solar coming in. So I'm getting about 1590 watts in, and right now my air conditioner is just on fan only, so I've got about 300 change going out. But one of the things that I wanted to show you guys is you are not limited to only 1200 watts per channel. I was using this with one of these solar panels I'm going to show you here in a second, but I put two of those in parallel, and it is directly feeding in to battery number 2 in the back. So let's switch this, and you know, this is 0, 1, 2. So this battery has external output, external from the sun coming in. That's why it's sitting at 97%, while the rest of these are right around from 86 up to 94 to 90. So up top here I have 230 watt solar panels. I get about 90 to 95 watts out of each panel. And that is perfectly fine for this input with one panel, but a little bit over what it needs to be for two. And I don't want to over voltage this because it can mess up the charge controller for that. So I was having an issue where battery number 2 here in the list didn't want to wake up and start charging. This was a morning after it was really cold outside, and I had killed this battery pack all the way down. Like, it was, everything was dead. It had shut down. And that was also because we had about 4 days with no real good sun. With my current setup, this system will go about 2 days. If I'm not running air conditioning and stuff like that, it'll go about 2 days before I have to break out the generator and charge it. But now, running the air conditioner, as you can see, it pulls, the air conditioner itself, when it just the fan's running, it pulls about 300 watts. I do apologize, it's bright out here and it's hard to see that screen. But this thing has pretty much done everything that I've asked of it. It's a little quirky. I've had some issues with alarms, and let me see if I can pull some of my alarms up. So as you can see, I had a couple of overloads of the inverter output. One alarm with poor battery consistency. This one here was a weird one. This inverter output short circuit. That happened several times, and I actually had to do a hard reset of the system to get it to clear, and didn't mean to actually get out of that. But it's pretty interesting that it let me save that log. Now, one of my complaints with this unit, and I think it's a legitimate complaint, is the app connectivity. I originally binded this unit to my mesh network, and even if I try to do a Wi-Fi reset right now, I cannot get this to reset the Wi-Fi to where I can connect it directly to my Starlink. So I have no way of viewing this through the app. I have to physically come out here and look at the unit to see what the alarm status and everything is in. So that's a bit of a pain. I know this is a budget system and they have an app, but Pecaron, you guys can really make some improvements there, and this will be, you know, a top tier contender, especially at the price point of less than $6,000 for this whole setup. It has performed, I would say, as expected. I can't really say better than expected, but it's met my current needs for a battery backup, and the UPS abilities of this are okay. However, I have noticed one of the quirks of this system is if I am getting solar in, like I'm getting 1600 watts in right now, when I go to start my generator and charge with my generator, it will only allow me to input into the system about 3600 watts total, no matter what. But there is a hack for that, and that leads me into talking about these solar panels that are up top again. Like I said earlier, they're going over here into battery 2 right here. Each one of these batteries has a built-in solar charge controller. What that means is you can take one of these larger house-style panels, and the specifications on these panels actually are within the operating needs of each one of those batteries. So in addition to the nominal, and when I say nominal, I mean that what I'm actually getting, a little bit less than 2,400 watts. Realistically, I get about 1,000 watt, or you can see where I'm sitting right now for solar coming in. It gets a little bit higher when the sun is right perpendicular to the panels, but you can get effectively another 350 watts per battery into the system. So one of the things I also notice is when this unit discharges and charges, the host battery charges the fastest, and it also discharges the fastest. These other expansion batteries kind of lag behind, and as you can see, they're not all quite even, and I don't understand the reasoning for that. I've heard about the power cables that are on this side where the batteries are connected in, where you have your port 1 and port 2, and port 1, like I have this port on the main unit going into port 1 on battery 2, and in battery 4, because I have them 2 and 4, and I really don't think the numbering scheme matters. Maybe it does. If it does, let me know. Leave a comment down in the comment box below. But you can input additional solar. You're just not gonna see it coming in. But when you go to look at your battery readings, you will see, like right here in battery 2, there's definitely extra solar coming into that battery, which is why it's actually charging the fastest out of all of the batteries, including the base station. It's sitting at 98%. So overall, very impressed with the system. I just turned my ham radio on to show you guys that it does work, and I'm gonna turn this off because it does use power when it's on standby. But I apologize for the poor quality of the video. House is currently under construction, so I have no way to sit down and edit videos. I'm filming it on my cell phone, and hopefully I'll get the house completed here in another month or so. We'll have the office set up, and I'll be able to actually edit some of these videos and make a little bit better content and a little less unscripted, as was the case today. But anyway, thanks for taking the time to watch, and go ahead and, if you liked what you're watching and listening to, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Send me a message. I like talking to subscribers and stuff. You guys have a lot of good ideas and critiques on how to improve things. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.